Hey, welcome back, my amazing student. I'm so glad that you guys are back here again. Don't forget to like the video, make a comment, and so that way I can keep going. But anyway, so on this lecture here, we're gonna learn a better way of actually giving our users some type of submission message, right? Some type of success message here on the page. We gotta find a way to send data better, right? So in this case, I use a unorthodox method to allow the user to know that the form was successfully submitted, right? So what are we doing here is we're using the GET request, and we're sending that data through the URL address bar here, right? And then we're catching it in the template, right? That's where we're catching it, right here. And the proper way of actually doing this is using sessions. Now, we're not gonna jump too deep into sessions, but just know that sessions works with the browser. All right, the browser has what we call a cookie, and you can check this out real quick here. You can go into inspect element, into the console. So right click and inspect, and you can actually go to applications, and you can see in the storage category here where it says cookie. This is all the information that our browser will be saving for this particular application. All right, and you can see that it says port 5000. So everything will be right here. All right. Anyway, we're not going to jump too deep into this right now, but just know that the browser saves some information so that it can communicate with our server, right? We're doing this with Python. The Python, we have a backend here, right? This is the backend. But anyway, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to import this guy here on top called Flask. I already have the name here. So go ahead and put a comma after the URL for and import Flask. All right, Flask is a function that is going to allow us to use this new method of communicating across pages. So go ahead and let's go and actually do this a little better. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little validation right here just to make sure that this here exists before, because if it doesn't exist, it's going to give me some type of issue. So I'm going to say if not name, then I want to flash a message to the user. So if the form is empty, I'm going to say, hey, listen, please enter your name. In this case, my fingers are really stiff right now. Before submitting. There we go. All right. And then we're going to just return this guy here. All right. Let's go back here. All right. All right, and instead of actually redirecting to let me just take this. Actually, I'm gonna put this all the way down so that way you guys can see what I'm gonna do. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna return. Let me just copy this guy so I don't have to type because my fingers are actually hurting a little bit. I will probably stop in a little bit because I am doing a lot of work here. But anyway, so URL for, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna redirect back into the page. So if the user for some reason forgets this and we click submit, we're gonna show a message here and we're gonna redirect back to this page. That is the goal, okay? And right here, so I'm just gonna comment this out so that way it doesn't confuse us, right? And here, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna produce another message, right? This is if the name actually is there. And we're gonna say thanks, and we're gonna give it, let's actually put this in an F string right here so we can put some variables in here. So we're gonna say thanks, and we're gonna say name, and then the title, whatever, right? And we're going to say here, let me see, your message has been received. Something like that, right? All right. And then here, let me uncomment this. And we're going to have this code also right here. Okay? This is if this actually exists. For those wondering here, title is a string method here in Python that capitalizes the first letter of every word, all right? Just in case. So make sure you save your file, and let's go into the thank you page here and work on the message that we're gonna be receiving here. So let's go, actually we can take this off, we're not gonna need it. So I'm gonna use Jinja here. And what I'm going to do, Jinja is going to allow us to, this is a templating engine, of course, for Flask. And we're going to say with messages. And look at this like a temporary variable here. All right. And of course, I got the wrong, this should be a percentage here. There we go. Sorry about that. So a temporary messages variable that we're going to be creating, and we have a function that we are going to access here, which is this function's name is get flashed messages. All right. So now this function is going to give us any session messages that we have, and we're going to save it on this messages variable here. Simple as that. All right. So make sure that you close your with statement here, with and with, right here, just like that. Your if block, right? Your with block. And here, we're gonna check to see if messages have something, right? If we have anything there, make sure you close this as well, right? I usually forget that. I have another editor somewhere, I forgot the name of it, that actually auto-completes this tags for me. I think we can download an extension for this editor, VS Code here. This is and if, sorry about that. So in here, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to loop through the messages. So we got this for loop here, and we're gonna end the for right there, just making sure. Then we're gonna tidy up this code in a little bit, all right? So I'm gonna have a div here. Let's just create a class. Later on, we're gonna style this and make all our styles global, all right? So don't worry too much about that. We're gonna do that later. But right now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna display the message. So in here, okay? So we're gonna have a for loop. We're gonna loop through all the messages, and we're gonna display them here. Now let's go ahead and loop through it. So I'm gonna call this message in messages, just like that. Boom. All right. All right. We're almost ready. One thing that I forgot, well, I haven't forgotten yet, it's to put this in the same page as well here, because we have this here. If not name is going to redirect to the contact page. And we don't have anything on the contact page. We have it on the thank you page, right? So I'm just going to grab this guy, copy it, and just paste it here somewhere where whatever I wanted to show, right? Don't worry, later on, I'm going to show you a better way of actually doing this, so that way we can show this globally, all right? And just like the CSS styles that we're going to show globally for the whole application, instead of doing it in each individual file, all right? Which is a waste of time. This is just for you guys to, so you guys can learn this stuff that I'm doing it like this, all right? Make sure you tidy up your code a little bit, so that way it looks a little nicer, right? And more organized. I do this, I make a lot of spaces so that way it's clear what I'm showing. But for you, make sure you tidy up your code, okay? Always be a little bit organized. All right. So let's go back in here. And now if I click submit, you can see that we got the message, but we got something going on here. And this is really good that it happened to me, because I'm gonna show you how to fix it. So when you are creating an application, your sessions can actually stack up. And behind the scenes, you know, they can accumulate. What we can do is we can clear this out by calling this function here. And I already went ahead and put the function there before I started the video, because I wanted to show you how to fix this. All right, so you can see this, it's called get flash messages. It's the same function. Just go ahead and import it here, get flash messages, all right? So it's the same function that we got in here in Jinja, but we can use it in the back end, all right? And what we can do is once we call this function, once we import it, you can put it right here. All right, you can create a variable and put the function here and pass these messages to the template. But we're not going to do that. Just by calling this function just the way it is, hold on, just like that, it's going to clear the messages that we have right here. All right. So what I'm going to do, since we're not going to use the variable, I'm just going to put an underscore here. And this just tells, this is just by convention. All right. This is something that we can come up. This can be a variable. And we're just saying here, we're going to ignore the value of this. All right, that's what we're telling Python. Ignore the value. We don't care about the value. We just care about this function executing here. So yeah, let's go back in here. Let's refresh. That's clear up. And now let's click it again. And now you can see that we only get one message here. Now let's go ahead and do Jose here and submit. And now it says, thanks, Jose, your message has been received. Great stuff, guys, great stuff. Anyway, another improvement that I want to create here is that if the user puts an empty space here and clicks submit, you can see that they are still able to submit the message, right? To submit that data. So what we want to do is we want to stop that from happening. So what I'm going to do is on that user input value, what I want to do is I want to strip it down from empty spaces. But I want to go a little further on that just in case, just to make this future proof. So I want to grab from the form object here, there is a method called get. This method is going to allow me to give this a default value like this. So I get the username, but if anything happens, if I'm not able to get this username value, if it's not there or something happens to it in the front end, then I can get a default value there. And then I can go ahead and chain this and now strip the empty spaces from the beginning of the value and from the end, all right? So now if I go back here and I try to submit this like this with empty spaces, it says, please enter your name before submitting, all right? So it doesn't work anymore, all right? All right, guys, that's it. If you made it this far, you are an achiever. You're gonna achieve great things in life, for real, because a lot of people actually give up before they even start, right? They already wake up with that mentality. You are not waking up with that mentality. And if you are, I'm gonna help you get a different mentality so you can be successful in Python. Just keep following me, keep going, keep being consistent, and let's do this. I'll see you guys on the next lecture.